Recording in progress.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's up, everybody? Look at that. The waiting room. The waiting room is popping. The Zoom is live. I'm Josh. We got Mr. Texty over here. He's been in the
What's up? What's
team
up?
meeting for 2
Oh my
hours.
gosh!
So he's catching up on
Catch up.
emails and calls. So take your time. I'll
No,
do
you're
the
good.
intro. I'll do the intro.
Ready.
This is Michael Blair. My name's Josh Messiah. We're waiting on the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Colby. It could be clickbait. He could not even show up. So I'm sorry in advance if he doesn't show up. I'm hoping he shows up. Maybe he's running behind schedule. But we're going to talk about wholesaling either way. So Mike and I have wholesaled. How many deals have you wholesaled, Mike?
So I've actually never personally wholesaled any deals.
Oh, technically, huh?
Technically not.
Really? But how many have you been a part of?
A good amount.
Oh, who's that? Is that me? That was me. I heard myself. I thought it was Justin. I was like, oh, wow, it sounds like me. So you haven't done any wholesale deals, but you have. I've seen them personally.
Yeah, I mean I've been a part of them, but from the distance.
So you've never been like the wholesaler.
Correct.
But you've been on the receiving end of a wholesale,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
You've purchased from wholesalers.
Yeah, we're buying two right now from.
And why do you buy from wholesalers? Like, what's the advantage?
I mean, the advantage is that they've done some type of marketing or some type of negotiating, and they brought a deal that I didn't bring myself.
Yeah. And out of the deals that you've closed in the last 6 to 12 months, how many have come from a wholesaler?
I would probably say somewhere between 8 and 10, 8 and 12.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
I
deals.
would say when I look at a lot of the deals that I've been a part of,
Yeah.
a good amount.
And I would say for me in the last 12 months, I probably purchased another 5 from a wholesaler. And then a couple that you brought to the table in terms of as an agent and that we partnered on. So between the two of us, we've spent a lot of money on wholesalers. And that's why I want it to be kind of a gateway drug for you guys at home. You guys are agents. You guys are lenders. You guys are running into these properties all day long. And you can be a wholesaler and sell to people like us.
Yeah.
And we'll purchase the home 9 times out of 10 if the deal makes sense. It's just math, right?
Correct.
And I think the hardest part for a wholesaler to understand is that it's just math. You have to do the math for the end user, which is individuals like me and you. But we're waiting for Justin Colby wherever he is. Like I said, he could be fake, and I apologize. Is that him? No? Okay. It could be fake. Could be fake news. I met him this weekend. Walking up the stairs, and I was like, hey, you're Justin Colby. And I was huffing and puffing. Like, I was out of shape, and he was like, yeah, what's up, man? Who are you? I was like, oh, we have a podcast on Tuesday. And he's like, oh, cool, man. Like, and he wanted to talk, but I couldn't catch my breath. And I was like, oh, I got to go back to my classroom. Like, and he probably was like, dude, this guy's weird.
Yeah, who's this guy? I'm not
doing
on
that podcast. But talk to people about why they would get into wholesaling. Is there a reason why people should get into wholesaling?
Yeah, well, first I'll share with you why we buy from wholesalers, like obviously for the deals and the deals that we don't see. But at the end of the day, it's leverage, right? At the end of the day, for us, we can't cold call or market to every single seller. And so if there are wholesalers out there that are willing to put in that legwork and do that marketing, get in front of the seller, negotiate a deal, and bring it to our table, that's actually leverage for me because I didn't have to do that, right? And so we're willing to pay to create that leverage, just like if I was to pay to have an employee to do that, right?
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, there's a cost involved to securing that deal, but I'm happy to pay that cost if it makes sense for us and there's a profit at the end of the day.
And I think a lot of investors like you and me would pay for that opportunity in a heartbeat. I see the bald head, and then so he's real at least. At least we know he's real. Justin, are you there? Oh, we can't hear you. You're muted. Unmute the man.
I'm here.
There we go.
You can't hide from me, guys. You can't hide from me.
I was like, dude, I think he's fake. I think he clickbaited us. I apologize in advance. But everybody, welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Colby. I could give you a big intro. I memorized this whole thing. Like, you've done X amount of deals. You're an author. You have just tell everyone who you are real quick. There's a bunch of people on here.
Oh, I just shit gold. Life is easy. There's never any problems. It's easy, guys. Come on. No,
buy my course.
Listen, first of all, yeah, dude, life is it. I shit puppy dogs and rainbows. I shit piss excellence.
There we go.
This is the easiest game in life there is. No, I mean, I hope everyone knows I'm joking, by the way. There's a reason I'm bald.
Yep.
It is the real estate game and it is contractors mostly. I see Manny Fresh and I have a similar barber. Tim and I go to the same barber. This is good. This is good. That means we're all doing deals.
Good start. Good
Um,
start. Well, right to my left is Mike Blair. He's one of my partners on all the deals. We met you in Dallas really quickly. I was telling him the story how I ran into you in the hallway. Just walked up a flight of stairs. I'm out of breath. I'm like, "What's up, you Justin?" I couldn't catch my breath. I was like, "Dude, I gotta go. Like, nice to meet you." And I was like, "Oh, this guy thinks I'm a total weirdo. He's not gonna show up. Here you are, a little late. You had me nervous, sweating, but you showed up. So I
but
appreciate you here."
yeah, man, I'm excited to be here and I'm for you, whatever you guys need today. And I can take this in a million different directions. And it seems like we have a great crowd here. And so you guys tell me where to go. And so, I mean, obviously, I can kind of give my resume, my background, what I've done, that whole sidebar. Some of you know me. I'm looking at some familiar names, some don't, which is great. So you tell me what direction we want to take this.
Today I want to talk about wholesaling, why it's important. I think for me personally, it's a avenue for real estate agents or real estate professionals to earn extra income, right? I
Yeah.
think you can wholesale 1 or 2 deals a year, make 20 to 60 grand and call that an extra transaction while still doing your real estate stuff or your lending stuff or so on and so on. So I want
Totally.
to teach people the basics of wholesaling.
Yeah. And so a little bit about me, just for all those who want to engage, I'd love for you to turn on your cameras. I see Donovan just did, Daniel just did, Johnny, Tim. What up, Donovan? Jasper, Manny, turn it on. I want this to be engaging. This isn't a me talk at you. This is let's vibe. Let's understand each other. Let's understand what business is being done. I've done this business. Andrew, I appreciate you. Joel, home buyer. Deep, Alex, I appreciate you guys turning on your camera because I like to engage. I don't like to just fucking sit and talk at names. I want engagement. I want that energy high, right? Because I'm an energy guy, and if anyone has seen me speak from stage, you know that's true. As I tend to yell a ton. And so let's dive into a little bit about my background, just so you know me. For those that don't know, I've done this exact business for 18 years. And what this business is fix and flip, wholesale, and buy and hold. It is what I've done for 18 years. COVID gave me and everyone here the blessing of realizing you don't always have to stick to a in your own backyard business. You can run virtual. I've actually seen a lot of my friends who are in the realtor space create teams outside their own state, right? And becoming a leader. And so whether it's wholesale, whether it's fix and flip, whether it's being a realtor, whether it's building teams, whatever all that looks like, you can do it beyond the localized market you're in. So I want that to be known out of the gate. I've done a ton of deals, thousands of deals. I've bought a lot of properties, apartments, storage facilities, single family homes. And so I know this space really, really well. And so I guess the first question I want to ask, just so I know who I'm talking to, who is actively wholesaling, actively doing deals?
So I don't know if it was like exactly a wholesale, but one time so there's this lady trying to sell her plot of land, and what did I do? I just okay, so I found a buyer or that was interested, and he gave me
A fee.
yeah,
Yeah, it's wholesaling. I mean, really, an assignment fee is the same. It's just fee based,
like we
right?
didn't do any agreements though. He just gave me on the side. I don't know if that's
Right?
legal.
You're a
Yeah,
pro.
I mean, I think it is. Am I talking? Who is my audience in a general sense?
Most of them are real estate agents,
Yep.
real estate professionals, lenders,
Yep.
investors. We have a couple investors here.
Good.
Wholesalers, probably 10% are wholesalers.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so I just like to know my audience, meaning
yeah, yeah.
if you're a realtor, one of the things many of you guys probably know some of my colleagues and friends in this space, whether it be Brandon Brittingham or Kelly or Dan Beer or whatever the case is, like, Brett Tanner, people that I have, done business with that we are close friends. Realtors are missing one key component for all my realtors out there. You're already in the business of the real estate transactional business, right? You list the property, you bring a buyer, you do the transaction. You guys should be your own buyers on most of the stuff that is more investor friendly. And if you don't buy it yourself, you should be wholesaling it. The reason why realtors, by the way, I don't speak to about you guys, but the National Association of Realtors hate us as investors and wholesalers is because they believe we are stealing your business, real estate agents' business. And if they really did any level of research here, they would realize we typically service totally different people. Investors and wholesalers typically service the person who is desperate to sell. They don't have any time left. The home looks like a total dumpster fire. Typically, that is not the same clientele a realtor would be.
Can I?
But realtors, go ahead.
Okay. So I actually had a one incident before, and so this guy, give me your. I generally just want to hear your perspective on this. So this guy from New York called me, and he was like, "Hey, can you sell my property?" He made it seem like it was his. He owned it, right? And I'm like, damn right, yeah. So I drove there immediately. And then there was the daughter there, and I got the vibe that he did not like that, and so that's kind of it triggered kind of a red flag for me. I don't know, it just seemed weird. He didn't like that. I was like, well. And so I asked Katrina, the daughter of the homeowner, hey, how'd your mom meet Adrian, which was the wholesaler? And she was like, I don't know. And in my head, I'm like, the freak, what do you mean you don't know? Like, it's like, and
What's the question?
so look, like, he had a dude. This is a crazy story, but like okay, what he did was get her to sign the mother a what's it called? When you're allowed to sign on behalf of someone.
Novation.
No, yeah, it was
Like
yeah,
a
Jasper. Yeah, Jasper knows all about this
power of
one. Okay.
attorney. Yeah.
Power of
So
attorney.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yep.
your question is
And
probably your
well,
wholesalers get a bad rap for some odd twisted reason, right?
so it just he first of all he misled me. So it's like calling it his
Daniel, just for
property.
the sake of everyone's time, is there a question behind what we're trying to
Yeah.
do?
So like, where was I the one wrong for trying to help his family more because I offered to pay their mortgage with nothing in return. So I was going to lose money even if I closed on it. But just the power of attorney thing scared me because what he sent me one page of like the 15-page document that I asked Katrina to send me, and he emailed my brokers and um one like so I had a lockbox on there, and basically they just needed a licensed realtor in the state to draft up a listing agreement.
Okay.
And
So they wanted you to be the listing and to put it on the MLS.
yeah, essentially,
Okay.
yeah. And then and so like I'm generally trying to know if I was in the wrong, like snake, like stealing a deal, right? But he was just calling anybody and everybody, like any Google realtor you find in the area. And I was one of the ones he called. And he just misled me. Like he worded it a lot like it was his property. And
Sure.
that's why I was like, what the fuck, a power of attorney? And he's saying, I don't know. It's
So doing novation is totally legal as
right.
long as you have the right paperwork.
So
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 without
state.
going, and again, I want to try to service kind of everyone. You're talking about a very specific deal that I want to make sure everyone kind of gets a takeaway from here. But in the case of novations, if they do the paperwork accurately and legally, it is a total legal transaction, right? If certain realtors don't want to be a part of that transaction or be the listing agent on the hook, most novations are done with flat fee brokerages. So there's no real agent involved. Usually the phone calls come into the actual investor themselves, but they get the authority with the power of attorney, attorney in fact, uh, to be able to do this with the seller, but it's a total legal transaction. So, but if you felt weird, if you felt like it was slimy or weird, then that's okay. Just don't be a part of the transaction. It's not illegal. It just didn't kind of fall in line with what you wanted to be a part of, right? And so,
Yeah, that answers the question. I guess
Oh,
yeah,
moving to that based on
yes.
that point, I think realtors don't understand all that stuff, right? So they're getting these calls, or they're thinking wholesalers are scammers. How can we kind of give them that perception that they're not? It's part of the game.
yeah. So novation's a very small sector of what I would tell most people to be doing. And so again, if all you guys are falling into like this novation world and finding all these deals that are novations, that is a very small sector of what most of us do, right?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about like 3% maybe max at most, right? And so I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole of novations, although totally legal. But what I would want to empower you guys all to do is to understand how you guys should be us, right? Because you guys are in the same business as wholesalers, fix and flippers, and landlords, and it's going and finding a seller who wants to sell. Okay. It doesn't mean that they want to sell at my price. The price that I'm willing to buy at it, it doesn't mean they're willing to get to that number. So then as a realtor, you guys have the exit strategy of listing it, which is better, right? But if the property is not in the condition for you to get top dollar, then you need to be looking potentially at trying to find an investor. But you shouldn't find an investor, you should be the investor. That's where I think there's a major breakdown in the realtor space,
Yep.
that you guys are effectively doing the same business as us, which is finding motivated sellers, period. We are too. We just tend to, 98% of the time, try to find a different type of motivated seller. We want the ones that have a home that looks like a fucking dumpster fire. You guys should be, in my opinion, trying to find a home like Mr. Market in his green screen right here. It's a beautiful home, Mr. Market. That's a great listing, right? That's where a realtor should be trying to harness their skills to do a lot of deals, right? I literally want a home that looks like someone threw a grenade in it in every room. That is what I want to service. And if you guys are realtors and you come across a home, you get a call from your marketing, you're canvassing a neighborhood, you're doing something to build business. You come across the home that looks like a total dumpster fire. You guys shouldn't necessarily call me. By the way, I would love for you to call me,
Hey, I
but
have one
you
better
hold
thing.
on 1 second, Daniel. So you want to actually be the buyer, and how you effectively do that is you talk to them about this. You say, "Hey, Mister Homeowner, I have a couple solutions for you, but I really want to make it the right fit for you. So I don't really mind what solution you have, but because I am an active investor myself and I am a licensed realtor, you kind of have the best of both worlds. There's no one else that's going to be able to service you in this way. Here's a couple options. One, option A, I come in, I buy this from you in 15 to 20 days, you know, speed of implementation. You don't have to fix anything. I'll just actually buy it straight away. Option B, you put some money into it. You fix this, and this. My best guesstimate is $25,000, and we list it for top dollar, get primo price. Option C, we list it at a number that is probably closer to my number to see if there's someone out there that is an investor that would like to take this. And now you have three options to give them to them. And then, option D, if you really want to do, create a creative finance structure as a real estate investor. But all of you guys should be focusing on understanding the value you provide. You guys are technically real estate experts because you have a license. By the way, I'm getting my license again after 20 years. I had my license 20 years ago. I'm getting it again. If you guys are a newly licensed individual, what in the actual fuck am I studying? It's nonsense. I'll tell you, after 18 years of doing this business, I've never needed to know the information that these calls in working with one another than you will if you don't. The challenge is realtors and investors alike, both of us have a problem connecting, right? We were just at boardroom, right? It's an incredible room. But if you don't create intentionality with meeting people, shaking people's hands, saying, hey, what's your business look like? What are you currently doing? Where are some sticking points? Here's some things that I can help you with. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm looking for. If there's no intentionality to build that connection, then you're not going to get as far as you possibly could. So being on these calls is really, really important. So I actually applaud you guys. Um, and so I'm getting my license because those two models, EXP and LPT, really create this community. And I have a podcast that, any episode will have 30, 40, 50, 60,000 downloads. I'm a national best-selling author. I've done all these things. So for me to guide people in a way to make more money in the same fashion that I'm guiding you guys tonight on a surface level, and to show them how to do more deals and make more money in the real estate space specifically, that's a no-brainer to me. So I'm doing it for the community. I'm going to go build a big ass team around me. I'm going to do little to no actual real estate, but I will have people like a Brandon Brenningham or Kelly or Dan B or whatever that I can lean on that do the real estate, and I can go make them rich because they can get the tactics from them, and I can show them how to run and scale a business.
Nice. That's awesome.
So that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So again, kind of taking a step back, if you guys aren't thinking, why am I not my own client? And I don't know if you guys are thinking, how many of you guys have done a transaction with a fix and flipper and you've gone all the way through the transaction and sold the listing and they made 100 grand, 60 grand, 80 grand, you guys made 9 grand? Who's been a part of that transaction? Okay, a handful of you guys are actually honest, the rest are liars. Got it. So the challenge here is you should have been the one making the 60 grand. There's no reason you should not be. It is totally legal for a licensed real estate investor or a licensed realtor to make an offer on a property as an investment and buy it. There's no gray area. It is totally legal, black and white, right? But a lot of you guys don't think about it. That's all. It's just not top of mind because you're so ingrained to work as a realtor. But you come across the same opportunities I have. Now, let's talk about wholesaling. Let's talk about genuine wholesaling here. Oh man, I'm a licensed realtor. My broker doesn't love investing. My broker doesn't love wholesaling. Well, first, my argument to you would be out of the gate, change your broker. That is not a broker. That is a broker that is limiting you, not a broker that is pushing you and motivating you and inspiring you. Okay? Because wholesaling is legal. And even in the states where assignments aren't legal, there's something called transactional funding that make it legal because you actually take title, you actually buy the deal, you put your name and your business on the title, and the very next day you sell it to the buyer. So it costs you a couple points in fees, but you're not fixing flipping it, you're not taking the big risk. They fund it 100%. So there's a lot of ways to be able to do this very, very, very legally. And it's just the limiting knowledge that a realtor usually doesn't have. Like I'm so happy you guys and honored to be here on this call just to help you guys open up your minds. That's all, right? Like this isn't necessarily about the tactics per se, unless you guys want to, pepper me with questions, which I'm happy to answer. But like, you guys got to open your mind. I mean, all those listings that you kind of like, oh, what the hell do I fucking do with this thing? Like, that is your deal. That is, you need to think, I'm an investor, I'm a wholesaler, I'm a fix and flipper, I'm a landlord. I can burr the property, I can buy it, rehab it, rent it, and refinance. These are all things that you guys should be thinking about every single time you walk into a home. Now, you walk in a home like Mr. Market has behind him, or I think someone else had a pretty cool background, like Cyrus. Like that's a beautiful kitchen. You fucking list that damn thing, and you get top dollar, and you make it rip. Period. Like there's no questions, right? But when it's not looking like that, you want to think like I think. So go ahead. I don't mean to just kind of go on a tangent.
Yeah. We're going to open up to questions anyway. So if you have a question, raise your hand. I know Mike had a question too. Tyler, I see Jasper with his hand up. Can you unmute him? Jasper, meet Justin.
What up, Jasper?
Hey, Justin. So I'm in Hawaii, and we can't do double closings. So let me say that again. So the A to B can't be funded by the B to C.
Okay.
So the C can't fund the A to B.
Yep. Do you know Travis Wailea?
Travis?
Yeah, the island. What is this company called? He was a student of mine. I taught him how to scale a flipping company out in Hawaii. Anyways, who cares? Irrelevant. But I'll tell you, he would be a great resource for you because I also showed him how he can wholesale. You don't need the C buyer to fund your A to B transaction. Like I said, there's transactional funding that'll actually fund your A to B transaction. alone, right? And then the very next hour or day, your B2C transaction close with a separate escrow.
Are you talking about like something similar to like Pace Morby's like Gator lenders?
I know a little bit about what Pace does, but no, this is called
That's like a
transaction
trend.
funding,
It's
where
short-term lending to purchase that A to B. I was just wondering if there's any other.
yeah, I mean, same idea. That's not new. Pace is a brilliant marketer, but
Yeah.
you know, transactional funding is something that's still around where you get 100% of the funds to fund Jasper and the seller's deal, separate escrow. And then when the buyer's ready to fund within the next hour or two, the buyer funds with their money, totally separate escrow, your B2C.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
totally legal. It's been around since I started back in 2007. And
so?
yes, you guys can date
Your
me.
buddy Travis does wholesaling around here.
Yeah, here, I'll just
Yeah.
look them up.
Can I meet him?
Absolutely. I'm happy to share the contact and just let him know, hey, dude, because he still calls me coach to this very day. I've been coaching him for years, and he's a savage. Let me here. I'm trying to look up his
Because
Tra-
I drove by a house that I think would work, but I just don't know
Travis
how to approach
Wiley.
it.
I don't know. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Travis Wiley. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank
Say
you.
your coach
Right.
Justin told me to go give you a call.
Sweet.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Justin. Look at that. I see Nick Bowen. Nick Bowen has his hand up. He actually, I know for a fact, has done one of these fix and flips. So he's an agent. He wanted to dive into the deep end, and he has, and he was successful. So big ups to Nick Bowen. Nick, you got the mic.
What up,
Hey,
Nick?
I don't want to jump in front of Jason though. I think Jason
Oh, I
had his
didn't
hand
see
up.
it. Just ask your question real quick. Go.
All right, cool. Quick question for you, Justin. When it comes to wholesaling, how do you determine what your fee is going to be?
Based around what the buyers are willing to pay for it, right? And so I underwrite it very simply where my buyer as a wholesaler is going to be a fix and flipper or a landlord, right? It's not going to be an owner occupied buyer. So I just need to understand their model, right? So most fix and flippers want to make roughly 10% of the exit. So I underwrite to that. Landlords usually want to make roughly $300 a month and they want to try to burr and have little money in. So I have a buy box, right? So my community, REI Live, I don't mean to be salesy, guys. I'm just going to mention it one time, but I run a community called reilive.co. I couldn't afford the M. I apologize. reilive.co, not .com. I was broke. I don't know.
It happens.
So that is not a $10,000 coaching thing. I'm not going to fucking sell you 20 grand in coaching. I do deals with all the people in that group and we split them 50-50. And the reason that's important is because that group gets my buy box. So you don't have to understand how the buyers work. The buy box is built for you so that you can actually go and say, okay, hey, I think this is a better fix and flip because look at the ceilings coming down and the flood happened in the kitchen and blah, 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 blah. Probably a better fix and flip. But if you also understand the rent once it's remodeled, you might have a dual-edged sword, right? It could be a great flip and it could be a great buy and hold, right? And so then you just have to make a decision. Do I want to wholesale it to a landlord who will probably pay a little bit more, or do I want to wholesale it to a flipper, right? And so it's the best potential of the property. So I focus on properties that are under $400,000. Okay. The reason why, and primarily under 300,000, the reason why is because they usually are great fix and flips and they are usually great buy and holds. So now I protect my downside, right? So when you're buying assets, I think all of you, by the way, if everyone here buying assets, because if you're not, you need to be. Yeah, a couple of you guys. So the reason why is real estate, and you're in real estate for a reason, not just to get rich, but to get wealthy. But what I would tell you guys about that is real estate protects your downside for one major reason is you have obviously the depreciation, but then you also have an asset that you actually can have a tax write-off, and then you have an asset that can perform and actually create you income. And then you actually have an asset that even if there is, a break in the financial world, your asset's still going to be something people need. Okay. So if they need it, they have to live there. So they will rent it. So as long as you are buying or focusing on properties, let's call it 300,000 or less, you kind of protect your downside because it turns into a good rental. Like, oh man, I'm going to flip this one. Justin told me go flip this is going to be amazing. Well, the contract fucks you, and all of a sudden you're over budget by 40 grand, and all of a sudden your fix and flip is done.
Yep.
Well, because the home's only worth $285,000, you're like, all right, I'm going to turn it into a rental. I'll make $100 a month, but I protected I didn't lose money. I just now have an asset. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, again, without being salesy, if you guys really want to be a part of my world, this is not a $10,000 coaching program. It's $197 a month. We have 5 calls a week. Usually they go 2 to 3 hours a day, every day, because I want to take people who are trying to break into the real estate investing space and help you get your first, second, third, or fourth deal. And you guys as agents should all be in there, because if I can help you think like me, now you're a double threat, right? You can list it, perfect, or you can buy it and flip it, wholesale it, or keep it as a rental. So I hope that answered your question, dude.
Yeah, good question, Nick. All right, Jason, you're
Great
up. Jason, meet Justin.
What up? How's it going?
Drive safe, baller.
Oh, all day, every day. I've drove 6.5 hours today so far, and I got another hour to go.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, but we're about 8 houses in, viewed 3 flips. The rest were for clients, and
Oof.
yeah, there we go.
I like what you're talking
Wow.
about now, Jason. Now you got my
Yeah.
attention.
All right, so I'll get right into it. So I flip houses like as much as I possibly can. We're just now getting into the point to where we're doing 2 at a time. We're working on either hiring employees or hiring contractors to do the entire work. Completely different subject with that, with what I want to ask. I'm pretty much trying to just figure out how to find more flips that are purchasable off market. On market, I already got that locked in. That's super easy. I've closed probably 10 properties so far that were all
Nice.
on market
Hell yeah.
flips that all made between 60 and 150K
Can
each.
you say it louder
So
for
what
those
I'm-
in the back, Jason? There's deals on
Sure.
market. Did you say that right?
On
There's
market.
actually
Deals
Wow.
on market, and that every single one of them, the lowest one made 60 grand. The rest
Good
of them
for
were up
you,
to
bro.
150. And I didn't get every single deal. I can only do one, and we're just now getting into 2 at a time. I have investors that will buy as many as I can bring them. I just sold 3 to another investor. They're going to make 80 to 100 grand on each of those. 2 of those were on market. One of them was off market. I'm trying to figure out how to get more to go look at, to offer on, to either wholesale it or to just sell it to my flipper, to where then I get my 6% when I buy and sell, and then the 3% when I resell. How do
Is
I
all
find
this in
more?
your own market?
Yes,
What market are you in?
Boise, Idaho.
Great market.
And my flippers, they'll go anywhere in Idaho. They don't care. It can be northern Idaho. It can be anywhere.
How much are you willing to spend in marketing budget a month?
I'm about to start about 400 a month.
On what vertical? Cold calling, PPL,
Ads.
Facebook?
Yep.
Okay. So you're in a tricky dollar amount, like 400 a month. I wouldn't. Are you doing Facebook ads?
Yeah, Facebook ads. And then there's another one where there's going to be a website, and I haven't decided if I'm going to go with that one. That's going to be 200 a month.
Okay.
For that one. That one's going to be more of a website and blog.
Yep. You should check out Minute Pages regarding that, because there's technology that sits on Minute Pages that everyone who hits your page, 20 to 30%, even if they don't opt in, you'll gather their information. You can start marketing to them. I would tell everybody, if you don't know, there's technology out there. It's called leaddetector.io. It sits on your website. Does everyone have a realtor website for the most part?
Yep.
Or an investor website? Do you have a website, right? If you have a website, I really encourage you to go to leaddetector.io. There is technology that will sit on that website. And in Jason's case, if you start marketing to that website, nationally speaking, the average opt-in, right, where they put in their information, at best is about 2%. So for every 100 people that go to your website, you capture about 2 people, their phone number, their email. Leaddetector.io will actually get you another 20%. So you'll end up with 20 people's information that you can start retargeting and remarketing to. So in Jason's example, if you get their email, you can upload it into Facebook for ads as a retargeting list and start to retarget them saying, hey, I'm Jason, I'm looking to buy investment properties. Okay. I know this may be a little bit above, as real estate people, we don't think tech, but I've really poured into tech because it's kind of the future to some extent. Leaddetector.io, Jason, I would tell you to look at that. You combine that with like minute pages and you put them together, just a couple $100 a month total, and you can start to really generate a lot of options, a lot of leads, right? Then it's your job to be a good salesperson. Get in front of them and say what's up. So $400 a month on Facebook ads, that would work, right?
Okay.
So $400 a month on direct mail won't, $400 on cold calling won't, $400 on PPC won't. $400 on Facebook should work. As long as you have lead detector. If you don't have lead detector, then you'll probably get 10 leads a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Which could be great.
Yeah, could be. Are there any other routes to go other than Facebook ads and cold calling and the?
Not for $400 a month, there isn't.
What would it take? Like, what would it take for me to find 15 every 2 months that we
15
close on
leads or deals?
deals?
If you did probably $5,000 a month,
$5,000 a month. Okay.
and that just
And that
depends
would be
on if you're going to do pay per lead or PPC,
okay.
right? So so my TV, so I do a lot of different marketing. One of the marketing verticals is TV.
Okay.
TV is great. If you guys are in Alabama, you may have seen me. Justin buys Bama. Yay. So
I did a TV ad for
It-
a 287 acre property. Sold it in 2 weeks. We were expecting
TV
we
works
were
great.
expecting this thing to sit on the market for like 6 months at minimum.
That's right.
Who
So,
do you use for TV,
but
Justin?
TV's 10 grand. Say it again.
Who do you use for TV? Do you use 10X TV or?
Yep, 10X, Tony Javier.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah. So, but that's 10 grand a month. So it just, listen, anytime people ask me how to find more leads, and it's like, you got to look at your bank account and be honest. Because, again, even Jason, if you're like, I have $400 a month for a month or two, then don't even spend it. Keep doing your free deals off the MLS, right? Like, part of my answer really to you, brother, fuck your $400. Keep it in your pocket. Take your woman out for a nice dinner once a month. Like, you can't go to dinner without spending $400 a month. Or $400 at dinner. So keep your money and keep doing MLS deals.
And then after that, once I get
That's my
once I get
privilege.
to the point to doing like $5,000 a month, then run it hard.
$3,000 is like the craziest, smallest minimum. $3,000 can get, some cold calling going. But marketing is expensive, right? That's why I like when the reilive.co, like a lot of times I'm teaching what Jason, is like, don't go spend money. There's all these gurus out there on YouTube and all over the place. They're going to charge you $20,000 for coaching, and then they're going to tell you to go spend $2, $3, $4, $5,000 in marketing. You're like, bullshit. You can find deals right there on the MLS with agents and get the agents paid. You know what happens when you buy a deal? They come back to you. You didn't have to pay to go get the deal, and then they give you more deals for the rest of your damn life because you got them paid. So the way I always look at this is, if you go directly to a homeowner, you can get paid one time. You'll buy the deal, you'll fix and flip it, you get paid. Awesome. You go to an agent and you get a deal, he or she is going to feed you for life. They will always bring you investment deals, and it won't cost you any money. So Jason, I actually think you're already barking up the right tree. I would tell you not to go pivot. Keep your $400. Take your woman out on one semi-nice meal a month for $400 and call it a day.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for the advice.
Yeah, brother.
Good,
Drive safe.
Good question. Good answer. Yeah, drive safe, please. Donovan, you were up next. Donovan, what's going on? We got like 15 minutes left, so let's get a couple more questions in.
Oh, I'll run this for an hour, brother.
Oh, they'll stay for an hour. Be careful. Be careful. What's up? Where'd he go? Did he? Oh, there he is.
When you're talking about the price range, to be looking at and different things like that, it's like, it feels a little discouraging when you're in California and like a fixer upper is $600,000, $700,000,
sure.
$800,000. I guess tips for, okay, if you are, how would one attempt to do that in California? Or if you're going out of state, how do you do something you can't even see or know who to do the work for you or to wholesale. Like wholesale here kind of makes sense because we do have, I can send it to Lending Tips. I can send it to Josh Answers. I already have those connections. Like that aspect makes sense. But when it comes to a fix and flip, it seems like it's a little harder to do that here in
Well, so
California.
listen, there's certain markets, California being an entire state that I don't love for the price point, right? For you're just in a really high price point, right? And so you're taking a big swing at the bat. Now, could you be a wholesaler 100%? Let someone else who has the expertise and already has been doing this, and there's a lot of them in California, let them take that risk, right? So I'd tell you to turn more into a wholesaler if you're going to focus on California, because you're right. Like you go buy a $600,000 home and turn it into a $900,000 home. There's a lot of right, but that $600,000 home is a $900,000 home if it was in better condition, right? So I would encourage you to do that. Now, everything else, virtually and nationally and outside of your own market, dude, it's the same process over and over and over again. It's just you have to understand how to analyze a property, what the rehab budget is going to be, and then what buyers are really looking for. And if you have that process, you can do it in any city in any state, right? Like I live in Miami, Florida. You know how many deals I've ever done in Miami, Florida out of the 3,500 deals I've done? Guess. Zero. You've named it. Not one. You can do it in any city, in any state. It's just a process. Like I was telling Jason, like if you call agents, there are deals there. Now, again, I would encourage all of you not to fix and flip out of the gate, right? Don't take the risk. What my job would be with you guys is to create certainty. Like I need to create certainty in the real estate agent. I need you to understand you can be a successful investor. You don't have to take big swings at the bat. You don't have to take big risks. Go transactionally get a deal or two done. You feel a little bit more comfortable. You understand your market. If you are going to fix and flip, then you should do it in your own backyard. Especially like I've lost some track, but let's call it 1,000 fix and flips, right? Like I've done a lot. And so, do I have a certain level of comfort doing it in Alabama or Georgia or Tennessee versus yes, I do. But I wouldn't encourage most people to do it. I would encourage you to do it in your own backyard because you're intimate. You can drive to the property, you can fix things quicker because you are taking a bigger risk. So I wouldn't tell you to do that. If you were going to go do transactional stuff, buying and holding in other areas, I mean, California doesn't have a good rental market. So you would have to go buy in other areas. Well, that's just numbers. That's just math, right? You buy it, you remodel it, you rent it, and you refinance, and you just say, hey, if I can make $300 a month or more net after all fees, I'll buy it as a rental. So the comfort level comes from some experience, but that's why, my job was to help you or all people create certainty that like this is real. But, I would list properties in California, I would wholesale in California, and that's probably it. Just because even me, I don't want to buy a $600,000 home, put 200 grand into it to try to sell it for 900.
Yeah, we're doing. We bought it for 900 and put 150 into it, trying to sell for 1.2. And
That's right.
It's eating up the profits every single day it sits on the market. So I concur for sure.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. And you hit some and you miss some,
Yeah.
but that's the nature of our space, right? Is in a fix and flip. Like that's why sometimes when you miss, like I did a $1 million flip in Phoenix and I lost $250,000. Lost 250, like a $1 million flip. And so when you miss it and you're playing in a $1 million price point, those misses can sting a lot, right? When you're playing in a $200,000 price point, you may not make 250, but you're not going to lose it either, right? This is where I talk about your downside risk and protecting it, because you turn that bad boy into a rental. Sure, it's not sexy, but you didn't lose 250.
Yep, I agree.
Great question, Donovan.
Yeah, I think it's Joel. Joel, you got your hand up. You ready for us? Joel, meet Justin. I think he's on the phone.
Oh, he's getting a deal done, man. He's negotiating.
Work. I like it. While we wait for him,
right,
I have
Joel.
a selfish question, right? So I'm being very transparent. We did the wholesale thing last year. We failed at it here in San Diego, California. Sure. We did the marketing dollars. We hired up. I think we grew a little. I think we started off too big, right? What are your recommendations, not for a guy like me, but for a guy like me, on how to reset the wholesale side of things? What's step number one? Is it get good data? Is it get a dispo team? Is it get call center up and running? Like what's step number one to get back into the wholesale game?
First, because I know so many people in San Diego, and you probably know all the
Yeah.
same, GG homes and all that. Like, understand where the buyers are buying. What is the buy price? What is the buy criteria? And call GG Homes. And there's a handful of others I can connect you with, but understand their business model a little bit better. So when you do come across something, you're not really taking much of a risk. You're just giving them a call and,
Yeah.
you know, calling it a day. But, I'm not a big advocate of, I guess the best thing I can say in markets like San Diego and some of these, I encourage you to use agents also, but I also want to say like you're gonna have to spend your way there,
Yep.
right? Like unfortunately, markets, the entire state of California, markets like Miami or Phoenix, Chicago, San Francisco, like these markets are just ultra, ultra, ultra competitive, right? And I'm not saying there's an easy market. There's no like easy button. Oh, go do it in this city because it's easy as shit. There's not that either. But when you're playing in that space to ramp up a wholesaling business, you just not know. And I know you guys just heard Kent for 2 days. Like it's just numbers. If I spend 50 grand a month, I need to be making 150 grand a month. But I need runway to get to that, making the money
Yep.
because you got the cash conversion cycle and conversion the deal and negotiating and all that kind of stuff, right? And so my thought is, take it one step at a time. I'd be probably a little, if you don't want to spend big money, I'd probably start with direct mail because people have lost the love of direct mail. So I think it's kind of more of a blue ocean again. Um, but be very specific with who you're targeting, right? Try your best to target motivation, whether it be pre-foreclosure or any of the liens and shit like that. Because you could probably get away with spending 12 grand a month and making on your size deals in San Diego, you guys should be making 50 grand to 100 grand almost per deal, right?
Minimum. Yep.
And so I would probably focus on direct mail is my
Okay.
answer.
Yeah, we used Ballport Media. I don't think you Justin Dossie here in
Okay,
San
yeah, I don't
Diego.
know them.
Yeah, he's pretty big. It was good. I think we got a couple
Yeah.
deals closed from him, but it just takes money, like you said. It's all about the math, and things add up quickly. And if you don't convert 1 or 2
Totally.
months, you're done. You're done on the
And
wholesale
I'll
side.
tell everyone in here, if you guys were going to think about ramping this up and you were going to spend money, you need to be in the sales seat, the sales position.
Yep.
Do not outsource that. Too often, people who
Yeah.
have experience and have done stuff and whatever, they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to put my boy Johnny, he's going to answer the phones, he's going to be my negotiator. No, you're spending 10 grand a month. That's your money, not Johnny's money. Go make sure, go create certainty and create confidence. It's your damn 10 grand a month, right? So that's where a lot of times people have a breakage point is kind of their ego. Well, I don't want to be answering the phones anymore. I run the business. I'm the broker. I have this team. I have the. Yeah, well, if you want to get down and dirty with it, do that until you can leverage yourself out,
It's
right?
funny because that's where we
So
screwed
that'd
up.
be the other
That's
point.
exactly where I messed up. Is I hired a sales guy, gave him a nice little salary. Month goes by, lots of BS. Another month goes by, more BS, and then it's too late. You're playing catch up. But yeah, you nailed it on the head there. So that's my question. Joel, you ready? You closing deals or what? Looks like he's off
Yeah,
the phone.
dog. You get another listing.
Is that a
Yeah, I
listing?
was I was just making some cold calls.
I like it.
Let's
I
go.
like it. Well, meet Justin. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what's up, Justin? I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say what's up to everybody and introduce myself. I'm an agent. A few maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I got licensed, passed the test, but I primarily wanted to get into wholesaling as from the beginning. Just pretty much now I got into to a company as an acquisitions rep. So, cold calling right now, just trying to get properties under contract. And they got a couple on the dispo side. They have a few deals under contract. So I just wanted to shout out, myself, and if I can, if anybody's looking to buy, and I'm in SoCal, if anybody wants to connect, I just wanted to say what's up. I'll drop down my
Yeah. What's your Instagram?
contact in the chat. My Instagram is investor Joe period SFV. So
All right.
S as in Sam, F as in Frank, V as in Victor. So just want to say
Cool.
what's up.
We'll get you like 5
Right on,
followers.
Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your biggest challenge so far, Joel? Like, what have you experienced?
Right now is pretty much the script that I'm learning. It's kind of I have to kind of reset everything that I've learned from other scripts, and I'm kind of implementing this one that they gave me. Another one is pretty much on the on-market side. Since I'm an agent, I mean, I haven't closed any deals yet. Can I give some context? Not on the transactional side or on the wholesale side. So one of my challenges is coming that fear or overcoming that challenge of when I'm talking to other agents, not saying that I'm going to wholesale, just kind of presenting myself as a like
Who are you working for?
I've been saying that I'm
What
a wholesaler and they automatically shut me off. So I need to figure out a way to um, like I guess redo my intro or something.
Yeah. Who are you working for right now? You said you're an acquisition guy for a company?
Yeah, with Blue Sky Investors.
Okay. I don't know if you guys know him. I don't know him, which is fine. Um, listen, it is it about the script. And again, I don't mean to be
I guess just my
salesman. You're the
mentality.
type
My
of
bad.
person
Yeah.
that I can help you with REI Live. Literally, I will do the calls for you, and you're going to sit there and watch me do the calls for you and your agents in San Diego, so you can go get more deals, right? I mean, that's exactly why I built that community. Is the scripting and the nuance of getting into the space of real estate investing can be a little bit nerve wracking. Like, what do I say? What do I not say? How do I overcome that kind of stuff? I don't mean to sell you, dude. It's $197 a month, but that is where I can call these agents on your behalf, talk to them on your behalf, and get the deal. And you'll learn. Literally, imagine if Joel, I was sitting next to you every day in the office, and I grabbed the phone, said, "All right, how many calls are we making?" And I made the calls in the office sitting next to you. How fast would you get certainty? How fast would you gain confidence? How fast would you actually learn? It's actually a big missing space in the coaching space in the investor world. Everyone just wants to talk at you and tell you what to do. I want to do it with you. Take it or leave it. It's all good. Take it or leave it for all of you. I'd love for all of you to be a part of that community, so I can help you get your first couple investment deals. But yeah, man, that confidence comes from repetition, right?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so you're right. You definitely don't want to say wholesaler. Agents hate wholesalers. But
Yeah.
so one of the best things you can say is, hey, we're a buyer, we're a buying group. We like investment properties, both to fix and flip and to keep in the portfolio. It kind of just depends on the numbers. Now, here in this market in San Antonio or San Diego, we don't keep a lot here in this market because of the price point. It's really hard, don't you think? Ha ha ha. Great. So we tend to fix and flip in San Diego and other markets like Alabama and Florida and in Georgia, we'll look at more of the buy and hold. Now, I have the confidence to say that because these are states that I actually do deals with. You may not right now, but it doesn't mean you can't talk like me or even use my resume, right? And steal what I'm doing, right? Because you're a part of my REI Live community. You can steal what I'm doing and say you're a part of us and go down that path. And then you sound more legitimate. We're a buying group that keeps it in a portfolio. And San Diego, we can't really keep much because it doesn't make sense. So we fix and flip here, but we do buy and hold in other areas. With that said, I see we're on the beach in La Jolla, and this is a $1.8 million property. So don't know if we can get there, but I want to know a little bit more about the sellers, what the story is. Did they already move out? Blah, 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 blah.
Damn, clip that up, Jason. We got to clip that up. That was good. I'm gonna sell
Thank you
that
so much,
for.
Justin.
I'm gonna sell that for $49.99 a month. Okay,
That's
Justin.
it.
We're gonna get a discount though, right?
Done.
I like it. Tyler, you got some questions from the YouTube. If you guys have any more questions, we have like 5 minutes left. I want to respect his time. Raise your hand and we'll get to you. He'll stay a couple more minutes because he was a little late. But Tyler, read some questions.
Yeah.
So someone's wondering what steps would you take to do your first out of state flip if someone hasn't done it before?
For like a true fix and flip?
Yep.
Well, I think it just depends on what assets you already have, right? So if you don't need to go raise money, then you don't have to do that. If you have contractors in the market, then you don't need to go that. So first of all, the reason why I don't usually encourage people to do fix and flips out of state is because contractors. The joke I made is not so much a fucking joke. They are the highest stress of my business there is on all levels of my business. People hate accountants because they're stressful and pain in the asses. I hate contractors. I say that because if you don't already have that connection, if you don't know the resume, if they didn't work with someone close to you, and even if they did, doesn't mean they're going to be trustworthy for a very long time. So I try to help people understand, slowly limp into fix and flipping, slowly limp into doing the burr model outside your market because you have to deal with contractors. So make sure you have lien releases, make sure they have an itemized bid for the labor and the materials. Make sure you're paying them in 4 payments, maybe even 5. You don't get the fourth payment unless you do the walkthrough and have them sign the lien release. Make sure you have a contract, um, and make sure you have the thumb on the pulse of what they're doing. The rest is just numbers, Tyler, right? The rest just comes down to if I buy it for 100 and I put 50 grand into it, can I sell it for $215,000 or more? If I can share my screen, I'll show you exactly. Is anyone able to help me share my screen? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, Tyler
Done.
can. There you go.
All right, cool. So this is what I do. Look, it's already up because I just had my community call. This is my actual buy box. So it comes down to math. I don't like to do any flips that I can't make 50 grand, but so let's run through it. The example I just said. Let's say I'm buying it for 100 grand. I'm putting 50 grand into it. And then I want to sell it for 215. Would I do that deal? Maybe. So it's yellow, 40 grand. Now, to some, that's a lot of money. It isn't a lot of money given the amount of headache I'm going to have to deal with. What happens if this rehab takes an extra 2 months? So it goes from 4 to 6. Now we're down to 37. Let's just say you go over budget by 10 grand. Oh, that's pretty easy to do. Now you're down to 27, right? Like, at what point, like, if you did 2 of these a year, you made 50 grand. Could you have done fucking anything else that wasn't stressful to make 50 grand? Does that make sense? So it's just economics, right? Being able to leverage something like this to say, if I buy, like, what did you guys say you bought at? You bought it at 900.
Yeah,
You put in
900. We put
150.
130. Yeah, 150 in it, and we have it listed at 1.175 ish. We just price dropped. I think we got it actually at 860. Do 860 on this one, this example?
1.1. So I was like, Jesus, you guys are gonna
Kill it.
crush.
Sold. Let's go home.
That's it. And then I can't.
Yeah, it's okay. You're nervous. It's first time. Do 860.
Right. So,
Did we
like,
lose
if
on
this was a 6 month flip, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you're probably likely in a loser. Now, I'm not trying to put you guys on blast, but that's how quick I would have made that decision. What if this goes to an 8 month flip? Holy fuck. We're running it up, people. This is why I really don't like doing high ticket flips. Now, you guys also might have totally different numbers. Maybe you're only a month or two in. You're not,
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. But even if you did this deal, you bought it, you remodeled it, and sold it in 2 months, you're making 11 grand. Now, I'm making some assumptions. I'm making you're using hard money. You have 12% money. You're carrying the costs. Like, these are all the commissions. You guys are the listing agents, so the commissions are probably not as heavy. But
Yeah. It's a
still, I
little
mean,
fluid. It's a little bit more fluid. We got it as a 2-pack. The other one we made money on. This one we knew was going to be a little tighter. So it obviously makes sense. But the root like cause is, hey, you still got to put the stress in, the time in, the money, the contractors. Like, there's a lot of work to do for a high ticket flip like this. Even if it's a 2-pack, it could come back and bite you in the ass.
well, yeah, and it's funny you say the 2-pack. So I have a 2-pack in San Antonio. We just did. One is going to be a royal fucking loser. I'm going to lose about $45,000.
Yep.
And the other I'm going to make 85, right? And so now I net $45,000 on 2 homes. And was it, you got to always go like, was that fucking worth it? Like, I don't know. Like, I would tell you it's not, right? So again, I don't want to dissuade you from fix and flipping. I still fix and flip. But at the end of the day, the reason why the one was a royal fucking loser is because our general contractor totally screwed us on it, right? And didn't fix the stairs. I don't want to go into it, but my point being is like kind of out of control because we didn't have our pulse on the contractor. So Tyler, to my point, there's always going to be risk, even when you're doing it in your own backyard or when you're doing it virtual. So you just got to, keep a tight ship.
Yep. All right, Tyler, what's that last question you got?
This question was, as you're starting out, like how do you manage to reinvest back into your business? So I think it's about scaling. Like, where did you start funneling the profits you made to find the best return on investment and momentum to scale your growth?
Yeah, so I want to be careful answering this because I'm 18 years into my career, right? I've done this for 18 years. Many of you aren't at that level or phase. So what I have today, and I have a head of construction, I have a head of transactional coordinating, I have a head of all listings and property management, I have a general manager, I have 2 dispo people. right? I have a investor specialist, which basically keeps the relationships with all my private investors. That level of scale comes years into it. What I would really encourage someone, if you're in this business for the first 5 years, hold on to as much of the responsibility as possible. Unfortunately, too often people are watching Instagram and TikTok and whatever, where all the flexing and peacocking is going on. I've built and scaled this business, but you got to look at the profit margins. What I love about what even Jason was doing is like, dude, if you can make 60 grand net in your pocket and do that 4 times a year, you're making more money than the 1% of the flippers on Instagram, right? Because you're not hiring out and leveraging all these people. So you're not going and hiring acquisitions people and dispositions people because there's operational bloat. So the person asking this question, because I think you're reading it from YouTube, is I like growth. I think scale becomes very tricky. I'm okay with growth if you have consistency in revenue. So my answer directly becomes a financial answer. If you are putting $250,000 a year in your pocket from your revenue, I'm good with you, and I would advise you to start to grow in personnel. Start to use people for leverage to increase revenue. But if that increase in revenue begins to lower your net income, then you're doing it backwards. There's no point to doing it that way. The goal is to become rich, and from rich, you become wealthy, right? And so I think you got to go put $250,000 in your pocket before you even consider growing and scaling.
I like it. All right, cool. Last questions. Anyone else out there? You guys are awfully shy, except Daniel. Daniel wasn't shy. Anyone else? Mike,
I like it. What else?
You're pretty quiet. This is your
I'm learning.
once in a lifetime opportunity to speak with Justin Colby. And
Yeah.
what do you got? Anything?
What's up, Justin? So,
What up, dude?
you know, I'm in the boardroom with Josh, so I didn't get a chance to meet you. I wasn't running up the stairs, losing my breath.
Out of breath.
But so I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
You know, how would you kind of maybe share with some of us that are involved in multiple avenues? How would you suggest we break down our time, right? So for me personally, I run a real estate team of 20. So that takes up a third of my time, kind of just running that team and training agents and getting into production there. But then I also flip some houses. We have some rentals and then do a little bit of consulting, right? So then time gets spread too thin. And I think some of us on the call are in that boat, right? We're realtors. Maybe we run a team and then we're trying to flip some houses and make some other money in investing.
So it's not about time management. And I think everyone was expecting me to say block and time management. I call bullshit on that whole theory, right? It's priority management. Is a priority will get done. So then what you need to do is you need to audit what is priority in your business, right? And in your life. So I kind of use the whole global or wide view of like, what is priority in your life and then boil it down. So, but I'll keep it strictly to your business. What is the biggest priorities each and every day? So I call them the big six. You guys might want to write this down. Every night before you end your day, like tonight, this little nifty notebook that I use every day has my big six, which is the 3 non-negotiables for tomorrow and the 3 most importance. Now, you'd think those would be the same thing, but they're not. Non-negotiables are defined exactly that. They are not negotiable. My wife won't negotiate with me. My 4-year-old daughter won't negotiate with me, and she's fucking great at it. No one, and I won't negotiate against myself. They have to get done before I end the day. Okay. The most important, they potentially can get kicked to the next day. It's okay. They're important. Like, so for example, I have to sign tonight, which will likely happen tomorrow morning. I have to sign loan docs. If I sign them right now at 8 p.m. tonight, or if I sign them at 5 in the morning tomorrow, does anything change? No. So if I didn't get it was on my most important today. If I didn't get it done, it's important.